last time I talked with you, you said you do minimal amount of marketing because honestly, time. Yet you still have financial success with your books. So for other writers who may have a full schedule like yours, what do you suggest they focus on initially without getting overwhelmed?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if there was a law if there was a law that said, you have to do X amount of marketing or you go into jail, I'd probably be in jail. Um, so I've always subscribed to the 80-20 rule. So when you start to develop a portfolio that's large, you start to see some things. And I was kind of one of those authors that wrote all over the place. It took me a while to settle down. And once I settled down, I kind of realized that the 80-20 rule really applied to my writing, which was that 20% of my books were driving 80% of my sales. And before that, I used to want to try to put all my marketing resources to every book because I wanted every book to grow with sales. But when I stopped doing that and I started focusing on the 20% that were the ones bringing people in, my marketing went a lot further. The time I spent toward book descriptions went a lot further. I could run ads and I could not quite set them and forget them, but I would get more mileage. I would get more conversions from those. And so I've always focused on that and focused on passive ways to increase my income. And I've been fortunate that that has worked pretty well for me. But that's what I would encourage people to think about is, you don't 20% of it's probably true that 20% of your books are driving somewhere around 80% of your income. So put 80% of your time toward those 20% of your books. And that will maximize your efforts, especially if you have a full-time job. And if you
Mhm.
find yourself in that constant battle between writing and marketing, which I think we all do.
So follow up on that. So if somebody's just starting, so they have one, maybe two books out, do they put much energy into the marketing or keep writing? What are your thoughts on
My
that?
advice is definitely if you've only got one book, get that first book out. If you've only got two books, you know, if you it helps if you're writing in a series, right? So if you can the more books you can get out in a series before you start your marketing efforts, the better. Because there's a lot of readers who've been burned. There's a famous author who wrote a series that begins with a G and ends with thrones that shall not be named. But people know what I'm talking about, right? You start a book and the author
Yeah.
doesn't finish it or they get bored, and so that's a thing. So the more books you have in a series, it becomes a lot easier for readers to want to vote their dollars with you.
Okay. So
So
keep writing.
yeah, whether you
Keep
have one book or I mean, it's okay. It's okay if you've only
sure.
got a few, but just focus on trying to get as much product out there as you can, so that you can maximize your marketing. Because if you've got just one book, it's a lot harder.